Good afternoon, class. How are we doing? My name is Tristan Morgan. Today we're going to be going over polyrhythms. I'm super stoked to be going over them. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and just start kind of asking around real quick. Does anybody know the origin of polyrhythms? Well, I won't let you sit and mull on it for too long. It just comes from African drumming. You'll see it a lot in more modern music like jazz and rock and metal. You'll see it a lot. It's very common, just because it's really catchy and it's what really installs a groove factor in a lot of music. And once you understand it, it's so easy, and it's you can come back to it a lot, and it sounds good, it feels good. It's polyrhythms are a lot of fun. I'm very passionate about them. So I'm just going to kind of show you a real classic example on my phone here of African drumming that kind of shows about polyrhythms. As you're watching this, kind of listen for the different instruments that add in, and how the beat of the music is flowing, and how these different rhythms come in and they change that, and they kind of act as a counter rhythm. Try and listen for how the accents are the same and how they're different. It's the same rhythm, but now different notes are being accented, which brings out a different form of the texture. Changes a 3/2 to 2/3 almost. And it goes on like that for a couple more minutes. It's a really good watch. I could show you a couple more other examples than I would if I had like a projector or something, but with the phone, it's just kind of inconvenient. So I'll just invite you to go look into your own music that you listen to. There will be a question about that on your exit slip. If what kind of genre that you listen to that uses polyrhythms. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more happy to help. But it's basically all of them. It started with African drumming, but you can see it in Baroque too. With our first polyrhythm that we're actually going to go over right now. It's probably the most basic one, easiest to understand, I'd say. So it's I call it the hot cup of tea. This is a 3/2. So what it is three even notes with two notes in between. And then not exactly, they're both in between. It's a little bit more difficult to explain. So first, I'm going to kind of show you, and then we're going to go and explain a little deeper. So here on my laptop, I am going to drum the exercise, and I'm going to call it out as I'm drumming. And as I'm doing this, I want you to listen and watch, and then I want you to do the same on your own. And I'll give you some time, and you can run it with me a couple times in just a moment. So it goes hot cup of tea, hot cup of tea, right, right, left, right, 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 left, right, hot cup of tea. Give you a minute to kind of think about that. So show you what it is. So here we have a 6/8. We've got the downbeat, everything's falling together. This is the right, left, right, left, right. Top treble is the right hand, bottom is the left hand in the bass. And up here it says hot cup tea. So it says hot cup of tea. So the of isn't going to follow on the main pulse rhythm. Tristan, what do you mean by pulse rhythm? I'm glad you asked. Because this is a brief rundown of what a polyrhythm looks like before all of the numbers are added into it. It's just usually one number against another, or it's one number over another. You'll see this in both ways. You'll see it in another way. It's all really the same. Either way, you have usually your Y is your counter pulse, or so your large pulse, I'm sorry. Your Y is your large pulse, and the X is the counter rhythm. So in this situation, we have a 3/2. So the X being on top is going to be that counter rhythm. And then this 6/8 is following on the downbeats and the more common and like pulse of the flow. So it's kind of hard to explain, but in music there is a greater pulse happening. It's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, something like that. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. It's 1, 2, 1, 2 is the pulse in this case, and the counter rhythm being the three notes that pop out. So, oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. So I'm just going to kind of go into another one, maybe try and give you a little bit more time to understand. So we have the next more commonly known polyrhythm is this 4/3 here. So same rules, right hand is the top line, left hand is the bottom line. So we have triplets in the left hand, and then we have 16th notes in the right hand. This could go on forever. It really only matters about one of these. Um, this was in a case that it was supposed to be written in 4/4, so I just left it going on. So I did the same thing that I did for the hot cup of tea, where I added the syllables at top here. So this exercise is called pass the bread and butter. This originated as the profane version of pass the butter, and then it was written down to pass the gosh darn butter, and then it was a more easier one for like elementary or kid friendly is pass the bread and butter, and that's a really good safe way so you're not worried about stepping on anybody's toes. So just kind of give you one more look at this, and then I'm gonna play it. So this is it's kind of hard to line it up here, and I'll show you how everything lines up a little later. So pass the gosh darn butter. Oh, sorry. Gosh, the gosh darn butter. Gosh, the gosh darn butter. Yeah, that's right. So it's going to be a right, left, right, right, left, right. And then, so as you're playing this, pass the gosh darn butter. So the pass, the, and then the gosh is down here. Yeah, pass the gosh darn butter. Pass the bread and butter. So we'll just kind of do that a couple times and give you some time. Just kind of wash my hands and just try and catch on. Pass the bread and butter. Pass the bread and butter. Okay. In a classroom, I'd be able to kind of see everyone's hands and affirmation to make sure that everyone's following along and understanding the content. Um, it comes up a lot. What if it's not 3/2, or if it's 3/4, or what do we do? What do we do? It's not always a polyrhythm. If the common divisor is so when you got 3/2 or you got 4/1, so there's no common divisor other than one for this 3/2. So this would be a polyrhythm, but this 4/1 is just two separate rhythms. It's just going 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E, or whatever, 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 1 E and a, because technically you have to wait 4 counts. But 4/1, 4 beats for every one. It's not really a polyrhythm because it's just kind of outlining the grid that's already there. So when I mentioned this grid, it's kind of hard to conceptualize. So I wrote it out real quick. So when you're taking a polyrhythm like 3/4, you have to find the least common multiple. So you multiply these numbers together, what number can you multiply these both into that's the smallest number? 12. It ends up being the number. I wrote it my way, so it's backwards, I think, but it's fine. So over here we have our grid. So we put out 12 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we have a right hand and left hand. The right hand's on the top, left hand's on the bottom. Both hands will play the 1. And that's how you know that you found the beginning of the polyrhythm, because both hands play together. Beats 2 and 3 are empty because there is more space when you add in this multiplication, least common multiple thing. So there's not going to be as much, notes that. So when it's really slow, you can understand it better, and then when you speed it up, it comes across a lot better. So this both hands together, right, left. There's a break here at 6. 7 is a right. 8's a break. 9's a left. 10's a right. And we've got a break, break, downbeat. It's kind of hard to show this to you while I play it. Just kind of give you a minute to look this over real quick. All right, I'm going to give it my best go. All right, pass, gosh, darn, butter. Pass, 2, 3, the gosh, 6, darn, 7, butter. It's supposed to be left right there, but you get the idea. So when it comes, so I'm going to play it once slow, and then I'm going to speed it up. Get the idea. So you can do this with 3/4, right? And then so you can also do it with a 3/2, which is, it's easier, but you can do this as far as it goes out. And you get a difficult polyrhythm you can't read. This is sort of the path that you got to take with it. So now I guess we're going to move on to the exit slip. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's right here. But the exit slip is going to be 5 questions written on a piece of paper here. Just turn it in before you leave. We're just going to talk about the same things that this short lesson was about. Where did polyrhythms originate? Uh, that's the first question. Second question: what genre of music do you listen to that uses polyrhythms? Third question: what is the formula for polyrhythms? 4. What polyrhythm does hot cup of tea refer to? And the last question: which polyrhythm does pass the bread and butter refer to? Now you have plenty of time to fill this out, and if you need clarification on any of those, let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. Take care.